Hi, everyone, and welcome to our fourth episode of Dialogues from the President's Corner featuring Dr. Zarda, President of Greensboro College, as well as our special guest today, Ann Hurd, GC alum and Vice President for Institutional Advancement. How are you both doing today?
Doing fine. Thank you.
Doing fine. It's feeling like December out there today.
So, as we're in the holiday season, we wanted to talk a little bit about one of the holiday traditions here at Greensboro College, which is the Nativity Scene here on front campus overlooking West Market Street. For Ann, beginning with your parents, you have a lot of history with the college, so we thought you'd be a great person to talk to about the scene. So when and where exactly did the Nativity Scene come from? Was it a gift from someone, or did students make it, or?
It actually was a gift to Greensboro College from Jefferson Pilot Insurance Company. It was started when out at the Pilot Life Insurance campus out in Sedgefield. It began in 1936, and we understand that the very first year they had a mannequin from a department store and a baby doll. But then in 1937, they installed the 8-foot masonite figures in a stable. They used that until about 1962, and around that time, well, in the 60s, my parents took my brother and me in our pajamas. That was the fun part. We got to ride out to Pilot Life to look at the Nativity Scene. And at that time, there were 3 of the scenes that are out there that are part of it now. And people from all over Greensboro, families would go out and ride through and listen to the music and look at the Nativity Scene. And then you would leave to head back out to High Point Road, and there was a big neon Santa with reindeer legs that would move, and it said Merry Christmas. It was a big tradition. So when Jefferson Standard and Pilot Life merged, and then they built the big tower downtown, the president of Jefferson Standard Life Insurance that became Jefferson Pilot, his name was Roger Souls. His wife, Majel, was Greensboro College class of 1941. And they decided that they wanted to continue that tradition, and they offered it to Greensboro College. And as some of the stories at the time say, we did not look a gift camel in the mouth. We accepted it immediately because we had such a beautiful place to display it.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, the season of giving they gave, that's amazing. Can you talk about the evolution of the Nativity Scene? I mean, I know you had just mentioned it was at a previous location, but did the figures always look like they currently do?
Yes, it looks the same, but they have been restored at different times, and always by art professors or theater professors at Greensboro College, along with their families and students, lots of theater students. So there was vandalism, and this is a college town, so there have been pranks that were funnier than others. Joseph, I understand, was kidnapped for ransom, $100, and they found him down on the railroad track. And then people like to take the donkeys. We've always gotten them back. But in 2007, unfortunately, a student from a nearby college badly vandalized the Nativity Scene, almost destroyed it, and actually was arrested and all of that. But the city of Greensboro was so dismayed that they gave the money that we needed to put it back together. And so we had the molds. We had the original molds that were given to us by a man named Wally Dodd, whose wife, Ann Bennett Dodd, graduated from Greensboro College in 1938. And he had these molds. He had just bought them from Mr. Wells in Georgia, where they came from originally, had saved them and said, here they are. And so John Sorry, who is still theater professor now, and his students took 11 months and restored the whole scene. And that's what's out there now.
That's beautiful. I mean, as I mentioned before, that the Nativity Scene's on West Market Street, so it's like right into downtown. So I definitely see the impact it has with like the Greensboro community like that.
Yes. And now I have little grandchildren, all under 5, and I started with them already. We put them in their pajamas and drive them downtown to see the Nativity Scene.
Oh, I love that. So looking at large view about like the Greensboro community, Dr. Zarda, what do you think it means to the college, both for the campus community and the city of Greensboro, of just seeing that site as they go into downtown?
Yeah, I think since Ann already mentioned city's support when it was vandalized back in 2007 as an indicator, but also during the worst of the pandemic years in 2020, we did not do it that year. partially because it does require security and issues with security and the pandemic and so on. And people missed it. We actually received a little bit of a slap on the hand from the Greensboro News-Record in an editorial saying that must be a sign that the pandemic is really pretty bad if Greensboro College cannot put out the Nativity Scene. And when I arrived in 2010, I quickly realized that even though it's simple in one way, it doesn't move, it's not animatronic, it's not like the Greensboro Science Center's beautiful winter wonderland with the moving lights and all that. It's part of the psyche of Greensboro, and people expect it. It's not quite what it once was, where the city police would actually, the lane closest to the campus, they would kind of cone off and they'd have directional signs and all the rest because traffic would line up down Market Street. Don't really see that much anymore, but people certainly notice if it's gone. And again, like many symbols, it's one of those hallmarks of the college where it's something we're expected to do for the community.
Okay. Can you talk about how, as a city and the campus has become more diverse in terms of other faiths and holidays celebrated in the month of December? Do you think that meaning of the nativity scene has changed over time or how it's evolved over time?
Certainly that's an issue across campus, across the city, across our culture. But we do have a history. We were founded by the United Methodist Episcopal Church South. That's how we came into creation as a college for women.
Yep.
And so, yes, I think it means different things to different people over time, but it is part of our heritage and our history. In addition, being a little bit of a scholar of modern religions, Jesus was born in the Middle East. Was Jesus white or was he of color? Was it? I mean, you can go through all that kind of typology. Not long ago, we installed the cross and flame on the side of the chapel, which has for hundreds of years been the symbol of the United Methodist Church. But I actually had a student come see me after we did that, asking why we would put a burning cross on the side of our chapel. I had to explain, no, that's not a burning cross. That is the symbol of the United Methodist Church. So again, I think to answer your question as most directly as I can, it's part of our heritage as to who we are. Occasionally, I've gotten asked that question of members of the community: are we too Christian? Or are we too? And sometimes I have to respond by saying, well, is the American Hebrew Academy, when it was too Jewish? Is North Carolina A&T too African American? Is Guilford College too Quaker? No, it's part of our heritage. I mentioned that since I've been here, I want to say it was 2012, but I may be off by a year. One of the shepherds disappeared. And it became a thing. It was in the media. People were talking about it. I was surprised by the reaction. And the shepherd was found in the woods next to Guilford College. Sure, that was coincidence.
Just coincidence.
They said there was a bonfire nearby. They think he attended a party, and then they found him.
and he left the other shepherds behind. I guess following up on that, Anne, do you have any more interesting stories about the nativity scene? Or?
Well, to follow up on what Dr. Zarda said, when they renovated it in the late 2000s, John Sorry and the theater students did some more research, and they actually changed the colors. They wanted to be more historically accurate, and so the people and the robes, the colors of the robes, they are all more historically accurate than the earlier versions.
Okay. My last question for today is, what are your favorite holiday movies and holiday songs?
There are many. I actually like quite a few, but there was one that when my children were young became a family tradition. And it's Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol, but the 1926 version of The Christmas Carol, the original. And that was something, for whatever reason, my late wife and I got in the habit that every Christmas Eve we watched that movie. It's not a great movie. It was the original movie for A Christmas Carol. But since then, there's many more that have kind of taken its place.
Yeah.
My family's not that sophisticated. We like the Chevy Chase holiday vacation movie.
Christmas Vacation.
We still think it's funny. and we love The Grinch, the original Zeus version.
And some of the funnier movies have become more family thing with my grandchildren. And that is certainly, Grinch is one of them. Elf is another one. Home Alone was another. The humor at Christmas has kind of overtaken the more seriousness of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I would say Elf is definitely up there with mine. In terms of, I guess, balancing humor and heart, I like The Preacher's Wife and Charlie Brown's.
Yeah. Oh, I should have mentioned Charlie Brown, of course.
So thank you, Anne, for coming by today to speak with us. And thank you again, Dr. Zarda. This is our final episode for 2022. So we'll see you all soon, and we hope you have a happy and healthy holiday season and New Year. Thank you.